sure we're all good to go. All right, what's up, guys? What is up, everybody? I am so stoked for this course today. Anybody that's joining live, thank you for being here. For everyone that is joining that is not going to be live, just remember, time isn't linear. Time is not linear. It does not matter whether you're here live or not here live. Anytime you set an intention, you can tap into this powerful, powerful energy. And the intention today is a shift. Okay. So before we dive into the presentation or anything, what we're first going to do is all of us come together and do some breath work. So if you can, it's just going to be 2 minutes. I want you to puff up this cheek, and then you're going to inhale through the nose with my hand and exhale with my hand. So go ahead and puff it up. Now switch to the other cheek. Okay, now just go ahead and breathe in for 4 seconds. And breathe out. All right, guys, I'm stoked to dive in. We're setting the place. Let me pull up the presentation so that we can dive in. But this right here is called How Reality Works. And you're going to see me kind of like looking down because I got my screen down here. But what I want you all to know is there is one source, and it's manifesting in infinite lenses, angles, and perspectives. That is not outside of you. It does not exclude you. Okay. It is within you. And so before we dive into anything, I want to remind you of your inherent right to your intuition and your discernment. Okay. So pay attention to how you feel about things or the emotions that come up, right? Do not outsource any of your power to me. I'm just a reflection. We're just having these conversations, but tap into what is internally, see what resonates with you, and then leave what doesn't. But the first thing that I want to do as we talk about these principles of reality is, as I said, there is one unified source. And from that one unified source came the illusion of separation. These are the yin and yang principles, okay? You have the masculine, which is presence. It is space. It is a void. And then you have a feminine, which is movement within that space, okay? It is the movement that creates, that takes on manifestation, that takes form, okay? There is space and movement. They are not separate from one another. They are the same source that is manifesting from a different lens, right? If the masculine, or what they call in the Dharmic path, Shiva, if there was no Shakti, Shiva would be a corpse because he would not be able to witness himself. It is Shakti's movement. It is the creation that allows him to witness himself. Shakti, the feminine, without Shiva, there is no space to create. There is nothing that can happen, okay? Masculine and feminine are both prerequisite for creation, both of them. You see a lot of people on social media talking about how to manifest, right? And how to create. And they will accept one principle and they will reject the other. Creation cannot happen without the union of both of these forces, okay? A projective force and a receptive force, a creative force and a space to create within. And we're going to dive much deeper into that, but you will see that the fundamental underpinnings of reality come down to these two forces, okay? You have contract, and you have expand. People talk about raising their vibration. Well, what is a vibration? It is a perfect unified expression of expansion and contraction, right? And then as vibration takes hold, we have creation, okay? So you see this reflected everywhere. All of creation requires the unity of masculine and feminine. Push-pull Every force has its equal and opposite, which is also known as paradox. This is why I talk about paradox so much. Every spiritual truth requires embracing paradox because, one paradox would be, how is everything the one source being made manifest? Well, that is true. We're all united through that divine energy. The other side of the paradox is we are all individuals. We're having a finite expression. You are the formless and the form. Both are true. And when you hold both, it creates a balance. Okay. So every truth requires embracing paradox. Now, what we're going to talk about right here is a little bit different. Okay. We're going to talk about blockchain and Bitcoin. I don't own any Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, but it's a really good way to describe how reality works. Okay. So, right now in the current financial structure, you have banks, and banks are basically a middleman between you and I. And the bank will verify a transaction. If I'm sending money to you via a wire transfer or something like that, the bank takes my money as an intermediary, they take their fee, right? And then they send the money to somebody else. The reason why a lot of people like cryptocurrencies or blockchain technology is it removes the need for an intermediary. And basically how it works is you have a network or a ledger, and you have things that are validators and nodes of that network or ledger. And they get rewarded just a tiny little fraction for everything they validate. So if I'm sending $10 to you, you will have, let's say there's like 1,000,000 validators or nodes. You'll have 10,000 of these validators that will witness the transaction that I exchanged with you, and they will validate and make sure that it's true. And the reason why it's very powerful is if one person hacks a validator, if I hacked a validator and said that you sent me $1,000,000, the other 9,999 would be like, nope, we don't see this transaction. It doesn't exist, right? So it's very safe and very secure. Like to hack the blockchain, you would have to completely take over all the validators. In a very similar way, I believe this is the way that creation works, okay? Physical reality, all of us, there is creation and there are observers of creation. You are both. Again, paradox, right? And anytime there is, in the same way with, blockchain, where if there's a transaction that gets validated, anytime there is an energy exchange, consciousness is this validator that validates the exchange of energy. It validates what is happening. It sends signals to what manifests in this reality. Because in the same way that a seed contains the entire potential for the tree that it's going to become, or in the same way that a stem cell in your body contains the entire blueprint for the organism, and it manifests according to the signals that are sent to it. In a very similar way, the reality that we are in exists in infinite forms of potential. But what takes physical form depends on what the validators send as signals to take form, what we validate as transactions, right? And it's a beautiful thing because it's completely decentralized, right? Like it's not like one person is holding creation together. If I die, reality does not collapse. And so I think this is a beautiful way. It's more complex than this, but I think it's a beautiful way to grasp the concept of how this reality that we are in is a projection of consciousness. All of us have computational power, if you will, our own conscious energy. And we all get to determine what exists in this reality. Many people say things like, nothing's going to change because this is just the way the world works. That is what their programming says internally. And so they put their computational power to rendering a world that does not change, right? Because they have that programming inside. And we're going to dive much deeper into that. So, as I said, you are a passer. You're not just a passive observer. You are a validator. You are validating transactions. But the thing is, this validation that happens is not just at the conscious level. Okay. When Buddha says all is mind, he is not talking about mind as in your conscious mind. He is talking about your mind as in your conscious and your subconscious, what you are aware of and what is invisible to you. It is everything that you are. And what you will see is there's a beautiful saying where people, or there's a beautiful saying where I've heard before where somebody says, you know, you're just the universe. You're the universe that split itself into a mirror to, you know, experience itself. If you can understand, again, that masculine and feminine are the two prerequisites for creation, but they are not separate from one another. They manifest differently, but they are the same energy. You can realize that the formless and the form are the same energy manifesting differently. You can realize that your spirit or soul and the human that you occupy are the same energy, even though they manifest differently, right? And all of this is just simply a mirror. Because if everything is the one source manifesting in infinite lenses, angles, and perspectives, there is a reflective nature of reality. It is just the ability to witness oneself. So, this witnessing is the cheat code to everything. This is why I always talk about needing to enter a space of non-judgment. This is why I talk about, you know, you need to look at your heart's desires, your wants, who you are internally, okay? A lot of times people treat shadow work as if it's this kind of like, you know, healing modality and you got to like trudge through the shadow and it needs to be a bad thing. Well, ironically, that is highlighting to you internal programming, right? That comes from like a fear-based lens, because all shadow work is I want you to think of your shadow or your internal universe literally as the physical universe, where there are infinite planets, there are infinite expressions. And every time you go inwards and you explore something new, you know, you have someone that triggers a reaction within you, and you ask yourself, why did that trigger me? Why did that make me so mad? Oh, I feel stressed right now. What is the cause of that stress, right? Every single time you pull that thread, you are exploring your internal universe. With every exploration of your internal universe, you are tapping into more power, more energy, more resources, and it is the most expansive thing that you can do. But a lot of people don't want to do it because, you know, it's like they want to perform. They don't want to look at their wants and desires, right? Because they feel bad, because they have conditioning that says this is okay, this isn't okay. And so we create this dream. We create this idea of who we need to be instead of witnessing who we are. But power exists in witnessing who you are. It is your most powerful and magnetic state, because in witnessing who you are, you can go inside and you can begin to witness your programming, because it is your programming, the programs that you were born into, in the same way that your phone came with programming on it. You were born into programming. You've just identified with it because it's all you've ever known, but it's not you. You are what exists underneath all that programming. If you have 10 computers and you give all of the computers the same data, the output is going to be unique to every computer's individual programming. The outputs are going to look very different. All of us are creating realities. We're creating our experience of reality, and it's according to our internal programming. As you can witness that programming, as you can remove it, as you can witness what is, you take it away, you will see, because again, reality is a mirror. The reason why it's Mother Earth, the reason why all of physical creation is the feminine, is because it is a physical manifestation of energetic principles within all of us. It is our reflection. It is a perfect reflection. This is why you can learn from nature. You can learn from all of these beautiful things that you see, because you're simply just witnessing yourself. And it's in that witnessing that you can see what is. And in going into what is, you can remove what doesn't serve. As you remove what doesn't serve, you will expand into your true form. And that expansion, that wholeness, that abundance, that magnetism, that beauty, it all manifests externally without any effort. If you are standing in front of a mirror, it does not require effort for a mirror to reflect you back to you, right? It's just going to do it in the same way that the camera doesn't, it does not require effort from the camera to take the feed that I'm creating right now. It's just witnessing me and it's making that picture. A mirror is not going to smile at you if you're just positively thinking, I want the mirror to smile. The mirror does not smile if you're just like, someday it's going to smile. If you smile at a mirror, then the mirror will smile back at you. And that's the trick, right? Every great teacher talks about this. You have to come into the now. The only thing that exists is now. And it's because it is the realization that everything you're searching for exists right now. Manifestation is not about calling something into you. It's not about creating something. It is about removing the block that is keeping it from you. It is removing the signal that is telling it that it cannot manifest. Okay. We'll dive deeper into that, but I need to get into the next slide. I have to do these PowerPoints to like keep me on track because I'm just going to like, anytime the information comes in, I just let it flow. But this is like good for me to stay here. But reality is not happening to you. Okay. It is being rendered through you. And this is one of the most important things that I can say here, because when you realize this, I fully understand. All of us have programming where we've been born into this hierarchical system. Okay. We have inherited programming from a hierarchy that has existed for thousands of years. Thousands of years. But the thing is, every single person within this reality has the same computational power as far as rendering the signals that they believe internally, the energy that they hold. Okay. A billionaire does not have more power than you have. Okay. Everybody is equal. But what the system has is systems in place, structures, hierarchy that reinforces a version of reality that it wants you to manifest, right? Because if you contribute your energy to hierarchy, you are establishing a system that those at the top, you know, the billionaires, those with the resources, right? Those that control the schooling systems, whatever it may be, you are reinforcing the system that they benefit from. Okay. It's why propaganda works. It's why people have these crazy reactions to their political views. It's because they're programmed to have a triggered response to something that challenges their identity. They don't even realize that they're contributing to a system that doesn't benefit them. But what I want you guys to remember is everything in this reality, okay? Everything that is growing grows. Everything that is alive grows. It expands. Any plant that you see out in nature, if it's just simply trying to maintain a structure, it is going to collapse and die, right? Everything that is alive grows, it expands, it evolves. This is why you see civilizations that repeatedly fail. It is because hierarchy is built on maintenance. It's built on programming you to contribute your energy to maintain a hierarchical structure. But if it's only built on maintenance because it doesn't want evolution, it doesn't want growth. This is why you see examples in technology or in industries where companies that hold a monopoly will actively purchase and suppress technology because they want to maintain their power. Maintenance is death. It doesn't work. This is why they all collapse. But the way that you overcome hierarchy, or excuse me, the way that you escape hierarchy is not by overcoming it. It's not by fighting it. It's not by destroying it, right? Remember, even though it is a distortion, even though it's not our highest potential or a potential that serves the collective, it is still the divine source that is manifesting. But anything, anything in this reality requires energy to survive. Your energy is your computational power, as I said, right? If we think of all of us as computers, it is simply your personal energy, your computational power that you put towards rendering this reality. If you put energy towards fighting against a system, you're still putting energy to it. If you put energy towards benefiting from a system, you're still putting energy into it. In the same way that you have however many, like 5 billion people that are Christians, the Abrahamic religions, right? You have Christians, you have Muslims, you have the Jews, right? All of them are the Abrahamic faiths. And in one way or another, they believe in a Satan or a shaitan or a devil. If you are fighting against a devil, you are putting energy towards creating that devil. If you're putting your conscious energy towards creating something, it absolutely exists, even if it's formless. If you worship that thing, you are putting energy towards it through devotion, and you receive energy from it. Everything is an energy exchange. Everything. So you don't need to overcome a devil. You don't need to fight against a devil. You need to remove the programming that ever made you afraid of a devil. You need to remove the programming that siphons your energy, and you need to put it towards something that benefits you more. The cool thing is, all of this, guys, all of it is a mirror. It's a reflection, which means, why does a devil exist? Because we believe in good versus evil. We believe in separation. Hierarchy is literally all about reinforcing separation. If reality is a mirror, if the physical is a physical manifestation of the energy you embody, what we can realize is the reason why separation exists out here, the reason why hierarchy exists out here, is because it exists in here. Separation exists in here. There's pieces that I judge that are good. There are pieces that I judge as bad. There are pieces that I accept. There are pieces that I reject. There are pieces that I want to overcome. And there are pieces that I love, right? All of it. Jesus literally says, if two come together and make peace within a home, they will say unto a mountain, move, and it will move. The two is simply you. It's all of your fragmentation. It is your conscious and your the unconscious and the conscious, the masculine, the feminine, the light, the shadow, the form, the formless, right? All of these things that feel separate, but are the same thing manifesting, okay? The same source. It manifests in infinite ways. They don't have to be the same. Why would we want everything to be the same? How boring would this earth be if everything was the same? No, unity can exist in diversity. Unity can exist in scarcity, in witnessing everybody's individual expression. The same thing goes with you. Every piece of you is perfectly designed. Every single piece of it. The pieces you like, the pieces you don't like. It is perfect. It is giving you the exact experience that you're meant to have as your own individual expression. All of it. Making peace in a home does not mean when one kills the other, right? It is simply bringing them together. This is why Jesus always talks about the bridal chamber. And people are just like, I guess they just loved weddings. And it's like, no, what's getting married, right? What is getting married? I think there's another scripture where he says only the unified ones will enter the bridal chamber. Okay. What is a unified one? It is someone that is whole. It is someone that is made peace within their home. That does not happen, my friends, at a future date. It does not happen. You can express his wholeness right now. You can be fully in unity consciousness right now. You don't need to learn it because it is literally who and what you are that exists beneath all of your programming. So anything that is keeping you from realizing it or feeling into it or expressing it, that is simply just a shadow. It's showing you what your program is, okay? You don't judge a computer for its programming. It's just programmed that way. Why would you judge a computer? This is why you don't need to judge your enemies. You don't need to judge anybody out there. Everybody has run their unconscious programming. Everybody has been born into their own little things, okay? We're all the same. It takes a lot of effort to become conscious and aware. And that's what we're going to be talking about once we go to that next slide. Okay, so an unconscious validator is simply someone that is validating reality according to their programming, okay? These are the people. It's just the way the world is. It's just the way the world is. What can I do about it? It's just the way the world is. Things don't change. It's the internal guys, that is the revolution that is going to shift the external. It is the internal that is being reflected externally. If you try to change anything outside of you, you are fighting a losing battle because it is you against everything. But when you come into your internal energy and make peace, when you remove the programming, this does not mean bypassing. It doesn't mean you do nothing. Ironically, what will happen is you will remove the fear that is keeping you in a collapsed state, that is keeping your expression from fully being realized, that is keeping you in a performance instead of an authentic expression. When you come into wholeness, all that falls away. Action becomes a natural byproduct. It's a natural, you're not afraid to move because you realize you can't miss what's meant for you ever, right? But unconscious validation, it is simply people who are rendering reality according to their programming. This is the vast majority of people, okay? But I want to remind you, a billionaire does not have more power in this reality than you do, than a homeless person, than a child born into slavery, than those in Palestine, than those in Sudan, all of the suffering that is going on, right? Everybody has the same computational power. Conscious validation is simply the recognition that you are a source signal, okay? Your individual power is the most powerful thing within your individual reality, okay? You can literally change your own personal life simply by just doing your own internal work. Express wholeness internally, it's going to manifest externally. You don't need everybody to come on board with that, okay? As more people do this, our computational power will come in coherence, okay? A flashlight emits photons in a very scattered pattern, right? It emits light and it's disorganized, it's scattered, and it goes in all directions, but it can illuminate the path, right? It's still emitting light. A laser beam is coherent. It is the same wavelength. It is in the same cycle. It's going in the same direction. There's a reason why a laser beam can cut through metal and a flashlight can't, okay? It's coherence. It is bringing people's energy into an organized way where we're all going into the same direction. This is why we constantly see divide and conquer tactics being employed right now. It is not just because someone thought it up. It is literally a manifestation of the divide and conquer that we have internally. As more people come into a coherent plane, we will bring our computational power, our magic, our conscious energy into a shared vision of wholeness. Once you hit a threshold that is required for something to manifest, this is why it's the great mystery. We don't know what that threshold is. I don't know how many conscious validators are needed to create a shift in reality, but I can promise you it's not as many as you think, because the power behind unconscious creation is like a computer that has the potential, but is only expressing in like 1/100th of its capacity. Conscious creation is when you turn it on full blast, when you light your fire and you ignite that flame and you express more and more and more. Okay. Let me go to the next slide because I just want to make sure I don't get ahead of myself. Yeah. So again, this doesn't have to do your computational power though, and this is where it's so important. It doesn't have to do with your conscious energy. It's not just your mindset. It's not just what you're thinking. It's actually about your embodied energy. And this is why the spiritual path is filled with so many illusions, is because people kind of get caught up. They trade one mask for another. They trade one performance for another. This is why you have so many gurus who speak so slowly, because they want to give the illusion of knowing more than someone else. this is who I was in my past life. This is where all my experience comes from. Dude, it's the same thing as the appeal to authority psychological manipulations that we have anywhere, right? People tend to trust someone with a degree more than they trust someone else. Why? Because they trust authority. This is how people do it in the spiritual plane is they create authority by an experience that only they can have, or by being special because they're channeling something that's given them special information. Again, my friends, if this is you, I'm not saying that it's incorrect. I'm just saying anytime you place a middleman between you and the divine, there is a potential for distortion. Okay. There is a potential for shadow to express and to siphon energy by feeding an ego. Most of the channelers in the spiritual space are simply having their egos feed into their spiritual narcissism by creating a story that is giving them information. The ironic thing is they're actually tapping into information, but they view it from a hierarchical lens. They think they're above someone else, that they're special, that they're chosen, okay? None of that can exist in unity consciousness because you realize everything is the same source manifesting. Your subconscious mind dictates 95% of your actions. Your conscious mind is going to assign meaning to it afterwards. This is why coming into awareness is the most important thing, okay? I remember the first time where this started to click for me, and I would get in an argument, with my partner at the time. And while we were arguing, I kind of like pulled away, and it's like, why is this making me so mad? Like, what's triggering me? And it's like, well, I don't feel heard. And it's like, well, why is it so important for me to feel heard? And it's like, well, as a child, I feel like I was always talked over. And it's like, oh, and as I pulled that thread, I recognized, oh, okay, this is my mother wound expressing, right? And as I could provide what I was looking for, the validation, the love, the support, whatever it was, and I could source that myself, now I could be in a space where when me and my partner were in an argument, where I could hear it from her perspective. I could simply just come into her worldview to see how what I was doing was hurting her, right? And expressing. I didn't try to overcome anything. I didn't try to change it. It was simply in witnessing the programming, witnessing the wound, witnessing what is, and then sourcing whatever it was that I was looking for, that expansion happened, okay? All of us are unconscious. All of us are unconscious, okay? There is an infinite internal universe to explore. Curiosity is your best friend because perfection doesn't exist. There is no end state. Growth never ends. As much as you want to evolve, change, adapt, expand, grow, there is always a new level, a new depth. The things that I teach right now, I use similar words to what I used, 2 years ago, but my embodied understanding is at a much deeper depth. And every single day, it's more and more, okay? So the key is we're not afraid to witness ourselves. Why would I be afraid to witness me? I love me. Any of you that can't fully love yourself right now, sit with that. What is stopping you from loving yourself? Because it's a program. Because loving yourself wholly and completely is the only true thing that you are. It exists beneath the programming. And as I was saying, you're running someone else's program, whether it's your ancestors, you've inherited gifts, you've inherited curses, okay? Whether it's societal programming, whether it's the programming that you inherited through your neighbors or friends or things that happened to you as a child, all of it is inherited, okay? And the most beautiful thing is, and I think I'll go into this on the next one. Let me just make sure it's the right slide. I should have had two. I should have had 2 points up here so that I could see where we're headed next. The most beautiful thing about realizing this is, a lot of people talk about I am consciousness. And what is I am? Such an interesting word. I remember when Jesus said, it's like the group of people and he read the scriptures and he's like, before Abraham was, I am. And people were just like, oh my God, he used the name of God. Why is I am a name, right? What is I am? It's just simply being. It is who you are right now. It is the claiming of your birthright to existence, recognizing that you are perfect in your creation. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. You are having the perfect experience that you're meant to have right now. Your life is so perfect. Like when you realize this, when you realize how perfect it is at revealing you to you, at showing you your shadow so that you can witness it and expand from it, when you realize that the bad things that are happening aren't because you failed or you've come off the path or you're out of alignment, but rather because there is a shadow that is ready to be witnessed. And so reality as a mirror is triggering you to surface the shadow so you can see, okay, where do I not trust? Where do I not feel good enough? Where's this tension coming from? Why do I keep collapsing my voice? Where does that come from? It is perfectly surfacing the shadow so that you can transmute it and come back into a more expanded form. It's not a punishment ever. It is all serving your expansion. Every experience is serving your expansion. The mirror that reality is simply trying to show you you so that you can step into more power, more conscious creation, more magnetism. But you can't do that. You can't do that by suppressing shadow or avoiding it or going over it. The only way is through it. Okay. So everything is perfect. And it's funny because so many people talk about this with manifestation. They say you have to manifest as if it is real. You have to create something, but you have to feel as if it is real right now. I promise you, as you start coming into the energy internally and witnessing the perfection of the imperfection, the unity that persists throughout everything. And I swear you will see how clear it is in reality. Because let me give you like a really ironic paradox, right? Because people who unconsciously validate reality, they are just validating reality as the current energy. Okay. There might be a hero, there might be a villain. Everyone's on a different spectrum as far as their expression within that mirror, but they are all validating reality as it is right now. So let me give you an example of such a cool mirror. There is so much chaos that is happening. There are so many conspiracy theories that you see online, right? People talking about this and that and all this craziness. And the interesting thing is, these three-letter agencies are actively pushing out more conspiracy theories, right? To just add to the noise, to add to the chaos, to have people just not even know where truth is. This is a divide and control tactic, right? Because if there's so much chaos, there is decoherence in the energy, which means that the current hierarchical system will continue to farm the energy that people are unconsciously feeding into it, thus maintaining the current structure. The ironic thing is, people are waking up. Because of all the chaos, people are turning into their own intuition, their own discernment. They're going inwards because there is so much chaos outside of them that they have to go in. These three-letter agencies, even in unconsciously pushing out all of the chaos, trying to maintain their structure, they are actively reflecting the expansion that is happening right now. Because as more chaos is created, more people will turn inwards. As more people turn inwards and tap into their intuition and discernment, into that love, into that wholeness, into their expression, that will manifest externally. They are actively marching to their own impending doom, and they are doing it unconsciously according to their programming. How cool is that, right? So this is what I tell you when I say you need to learn to look in reality, and this is what I'll teach over the 30 days, to witness it as it is. And to witness something as it is, you need to recognize that it is a reflection. And if you can trust the energy you have internally, you will see it externally. Because when you look at the mirror of reality, it's not looking at it head on, okay? If you're in a relationship with a narcissist, that is not being like, it's a reflection of you, you're a narcissist. No, right? This takes nuance. What is a narcissist? It's someone that puts their needs in front of someone else. It's someone that takes without giving. It's very parasitic in its relationship. So what could a reflection be? Where do I give without putting myself first? Where do I not hold a boundary? Where do I collapse out of fear? because I'm afraid of losing a transactional love, right? You have to look at the reflections from a different angle. You have to get creative. You have to open your mind. But the beautiful thing is, every answer is within you. So the key is set an intention, ponder, become curious, and create stillness. And in that stillness, the answer will arise because, my friends, you have every answer in you. You have it all. Why? Because as it says in the next slide, you're a fractal. You're a fractal. Like I said, a seed contains the entire blueprint for the tree that it's going to become. And it takes resources, it takes water, it takes nutrients. And in that nurturing, it's able to manifest and realize the potential that has always been there. A stem cell contains the entire genetic blueprint of the human that you are, the organism. And according to the signals sent to the stem cell, it will manifest as a lung cell, as a heart cell, whatever is necessary for the body. Okay. These are reflections. There are so many examples of this. Okay. We are all fractals, meaning, as Rumi said so beautifully, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean contained in a drop. But your drop is a perfect puzzle piece, perfectly designed. You do not need to become anything other than you are. Life is not about learning how to create the puzzle piece so that you can fit in with others. It is about removing the programming that makes you perform or makes you not express as the piece that you are. As you express as the piece that you are, there is a magnetism to it. There is a power to it. It pulls everything to you that is meant for you, and it repels everything that isn't. Remember, as I said, we're in duality. I'm pointing to the yin and yang, okay? You, in your expression, as a perfect divine fractal, are going to ignite some people, expand some people, inspire some people, and you're going to repel. You're going to be a catalyst for rejection, for people where you trigger them. Okay? You, no matter who you are, no matter what the action is, it will be perceived by some as a hero and perceived by some as a villain. You have no control, zero control over that. All of us are mirrors, fractals of the divine. When you collapse your expression, when you fragment yourself, when you perform, you are walking through reality holding a funhouse carnival mirror. You are giving people distorted reflections, okay? That is not a loving service to humanity. The most loving thing you can do is be your true, authentic mirror. Yes, it's going to trigger some people. Yes, it's going to repel some people. Yes, as you express fully, it's going to attract people who project onto you, who don't understand, who say things. The ironic thing is, they're playing a perfect role for you because they're going to surface some shadow that you need to witness. Why do I care about how people perceive me? Why do I care about what people think? Why do I care when people misunderstand? I'm not in their world. I'm not in control of their reality. I'm just putting this out there for everybody, and people can perceive it the way that they want to, right? The most loving thing you can do for you is to detach from all that energy. I don't fucking care. I do not care how people perceive me. I don't care what people think. I had somebody come up to me the other day and they were like, if you took your brand more seriously, you could really blow. It's like, take my brand more seriously. This is not a brand. This is just who I am. This is my expression. This is what I love to do. It charges me. It energizes me. This is who I am at a soul level. It really repels some people. People love to project onto it. People love to say things, it's just like, oh, this dude, whatever. It was so hard for me at first. I was like, no, I'm a good person. You guys need to see I truly care about you. I'm not trying to be this. claim all that energy back in. I'm not giving energy to anybody else's perception of me. All of my energy goes towards my expression, my creation. I fully understand that I'm a hero or a villain, okay? The same goes for you guys. And as a fractal, your expression is perfect, okay? You're meant to trigger some people. You're meant to ignite some people. Any form of performance, you're throwing distortion into reality, and it maintains distortion. It's the same people who get caught up in love and light bypassing, who refuse to see the shadow. They don't realize that any form of suppression of shadow has to manifest externally. So much horror is happening in the world right now. And honestly, like, it rationally makes sense, right? You can think about all of the things that are happening in the world. Why do they persist? Because we don't care enough about them, right? I think the cacao industry, like cocoa, chocolate, it is one of the highest industries that employs child slave labor, right? But we don't want to think about that. We're just like, oh, let me get my chocolate from the store. You know, it's like Nestle, I think, like, actively knows just how many child slaves, like, they know it and they're doing nothing about it, right? And the same goes for us. We're like, oh, I don't want to think about that. That's a lot to think about. I don't care. And because we don't care, it persists. It's the same thing energetically. If we suppress shadow, it manifests externally. Why? Because it demands our witness. It demands our witness. And it is only in witnessing and seeing what is that we have the ability to expand and evolve past it. And I just want to be clear too, as far as like the expansion and evolution and evolving this plane or bringing more coherence, all of the like good versus evil is us versus us. It's just me versus me. It's all the divine source. All of the horrors that are happening, you are the judge and the victim. You are the perpetrator and the one that it happens to. It all just is. It's us. And so don't get caught up in some of the traps, the fear-based programming as it presents as we translate. Because again, remember, a computer translates information according to its programming. You can be tapped into the source, you can be tapped into your field, but you can still translate it through your programming or a fear-based lens. This is why in spirituality, so many people get caught up in the fear of missing out, right? Oh my God, if I don't shift, what's going to happen, right? There's fear of not expanding, not doing it right, not making it. This is why there's so many escapism traps, earning heaven, trying to ascend, trying to be anywhere other than where we are right now, okay? All of it is just fear presenting itself, okay? There is no war to win. There is no, it's one of the paradoxes of spiritual truths. And I want to mention that so that people don't think I'm bypassing here. None of this is real. Okay. None of it's real. It's all an illusion. It is the most beautiful and incredible illusion. Oh my God. Because if we're all the formless, that one unified field, there's nothing to experience. It's just all you. How amazing, but how boring, It is beyond our comprehension. We can't understand it. The other side of the paradox is this is very real. Pain is real. Suffering is real, right? But if you only hold that side of the paradox, the pain and the suffering, you'll be in an energetic density that can really collapse you because you're just like, oh my God, the world sucks. Nothing is changing. It's hopeless, right? And then you feed your energy into manifesting a world that sucks and that is hopeless. So you don't fully want to be in that energy. If you're only in the energy that none of this is real, you can be very spacey. You can be very bypassy. You can just reject everything and not move to create change because you're just like, whatever. What a selfish thing, right? But if you're only in that side, it's not the best state to be in. But when you hold paradox, when you hold both of the truths, it's not real, but it is. It creates an effortless, balanced state. This is not the same as taking a middle path. Okay, I want to be clear. This is a way to keep yourself energetically coherent so that you're not bogged down, weighted down in patterns, so that you can witness what is and expand and evolve and realize that the only thing that you have control over is your own universe, who you are. And who you are, what your dharma is, what your path is. Only you know what it is. Your wants, your desires, the things that ignite you. They are this beautiful North Star within you that is leading you down your perfect path to have your perfect experience. And guess what? All of you that are listening to this, everyone that has an intention, you're already on your highest path. You are already there. You're already witnessing the fulfillment and the realization of your potential. And when you hold that energy, that gratitude, that abundance, that energy of inevitability, that you literally can't miss what's meant for you because it's all coming to you in perfect divine timing, there's an effortlessness to it. None of your energy is going to stressing, to worrying, to being bogged down. All of it is in coherence with your expression. As you go down that path, it's perfectly going to surface shadow. It's perfectly going to surface programming so you can witness yourself. Why? Because you're the programmer. I want to see my programming, surface it all so I can change it, take a more expanded form, see where I'm limiting myself. Where can I program more abundance? Where can I program more luck? Where can I program more energy to just fearlessly pursue something because I know I can't miss it? I'm telling you guys, I wrote a guided meditation about inevitability. And it's because I used to really be stuck in collapse because one of my shadows, being a 10 null within the mind system, it's called the cosmic mind. And it's the ability to like channel and take in information and grasp it with your mind and then distill it simply. And the shadow is perfectionism, can keep you from expressing. Perfectionism can like stop you from movement. And it used to always stop me because I was just like, it has to be perfect, it has to be this way. And as I sat and meditated and I would ask, okay, what is the energy? What is the program I need to put in my body, in my energetic body, into my subconscious? What can I put in right now that's going to help me expand? What came to me was inevitability. This energy of like, I literally can't miss what's meant for me. Like every experience that I'm meant to have, there's nothing I can do that's going to pull me off of that path. That means every up, every down, every right, every left, all of it is coming to me in perfect timing. It is all serving me. That means I'm going to have some friction. I'm going to have some hard times. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to survive, right? Because it's taking me where I want to go. As I worked to plant that inevitability energy into my subconscious using frequencies, using guided meditations. As I said, I made a guided meditation because it completely changed my life. And I'm like, oh my God, other people need to try this. As I implanted that energy, eventually the roots took hold, the inevitable energy sprouted within my garden, and all fear of movement left. I still have to go out and create. I still have to go make things, but there's nothing stopping me from doing it. Because I'm not worried about what's the outcome going to be. The outcome is going to be the perfect outcome. I don't need to judge whether it's good or bad. I don't need to try to control and say it has to be this. It's going to be the perfect outcome taking me along the path that I'm meant to go. Everything is leading to my perfect out. Oh my God, the weightlessness in this energy, the ability to just move. It is so beautiful. And that this is the power of being the programmer. But anyways, next slide. So principles of reality, guys. Push, pull, masculine, feminine, all of it creates the illusion of separation. It's the same source manifesting. You can either be based in fear or you can be based in love. Love holds space for evolution. Love holds space for expansion. Love does not need to control. Love does not need to force. Love allows what is. Fear contracts. Fear controls. Fear forces. Fear puts timelines. Fear says this is the way it has to manifest. Here's the way it has to look like. Here's the timeline it has to happen on. Fear is an energy. It is a program where you look at the outside world coming in. If it is outside in, it is a collapsing energy. Okay. Again, collapse doesn't mean bad. Collapse doesn't mean evil. You don't need to reject collapse. A vibration, creation, all of it is perfect unity of masculine and feminine, of expansion and contraction. You need both. People who only expand, spiritual psychosis. They're going too hard. Icarus flew too close to the sun. He got burned. He got consumed. People who contract too much in that contraction, it's depressive, right? They're in hell. They're in that energetic density. Expansion and contraction is balanced growth, where you expand beyond where you are, and then you contract and you pull it back into the body. You embody that energy. You create a foundation. And as you create that foundation, you expand to the next level. As you expand, you pull it into the body, you firm up that foundation, and you keep going, okay? So contraction isn't inherently bad. I'm not reinforcing any form of hierarchy that says this is good, this is bad, this is okay, this isn't. It is all the divine source. It all serves us. But what you can tune into with love and fear is the recognition that love expands and fear contracts. Your body intuitively feels. Your body is a super intelligent computer. It's so cool because when I channel messages, I literally just feel into my body and I let information flow through me. And as information is coming in and as I'm speaking to it, my conscious mind is not tied to it. It's just coming through, and my body can feel whether something is expanding or contracting, whether it's clear or whether there's distortion. And so it's just like it's tuned in to a flow. And in that flow state, I'm just in my authentic expression, okay? The same thing goes for you. Every single thing embodies the potential of both expansion and contraction, meaning everything that is currently collapsing you, contracting you, suppressing you, hurting you, whatever it may be, it all holds the potential to expand. This is why there's that famous saying of the cave you're afraid of holds the treasures you're looking for. It's because everything that you view as a weakness is actually one of your greatest strengths. Everything that's collapsing you is actually calling you into expansion. It's an initiation. All of it is serving you. Your enemies. Love your enemies. Why? Because they are your angels. Their triggers that they give you are showing you where you're still not fully in unity, because unity is with everything. Unity does not say this is unacceptable, okay? And again, I'm not bypassing, because there's a lot of things happening on this earth that my dearest prayer is that in my lifetime we expand past it, because there are horrors that are happening. But unity recognizes that the same divinity that exists in the lightest of the light exists within the darkest of the shadow. And while we all express on a different spectrum of that divinity, again, the seed holds the entire potential. All of us, we are the entire ocean within a drop. Some people are sending signals to express in a very low state. Some people are sending signals to express in higher states. Low versus high is not a hierarchy. One is not better. They are all serving the collective as a mirror of the energy that we embody right now. I do not separate myself from the horrors happening. I witness the horrors and I see myself in them. I use them as a reflection. Where do I do this to myself? Where does one piece of me take advantage of another? Where do I exploit? Where do I extract? Where do I judge? Where does elitism exist within me? What parts do I create hierarchy, right? It's all just me. I witness myself in it. As we embody that energy of union, union is everything. I accept all parts. I don't accept my whole body, but reject my hand. I don't accept my whole body, but reject my nose. I accept all of it. All of it is unified within me. The world is your body. Everything that is happening is you. And as you can unify and accept all of it as it is, you will have the energy to put consciously to a more expanded form of reality. And as you put your energy to it, you send signals for that to manifest. That is why reality reflects you back to you always, okay? We do not create separation anymore. It is not us versus them. Some people, I get a lot of people in my comments where they say, some of us are here to embody the light and some are here to embody the shadow. And while that is true that everyone is expressing in a different form, the darkness is not outside of us. Okay? Like it's everywhere, guys. It's all the same energy. We're all the same energy, just manifesting in a different potential. And as we hold the realization that where I'm at right now, I accept it in unity. I also understand that I have more expanded forms and I allow myself to expand into them. As I hold that energy for me, I hold it for every other person on this plane. The worst person on this planet, guess what? That is God incarnate. And I know they have a highest expression and I know they have the power to and potential to manifest it and to realize it in this form. And I'm putting all of my energy towards them doing it. Why would I hold them in? Why am I going to judge so I can feel better than them? Who cares about feeling better? Who cares about feeling superior? It's fake. It's not real. You can't be superior than anything. It's all the one source. No piece of source is better than another, right? This is that balanced state to come into internally, and then nothing is siphoning your energy, and you can put it towards conscious co-creation. I got to start going this a little bit quicker, but this is simply going from program to programmer. Let me see what the next slide is, because I think it's, yeah. Okay. So I'm going to use AI as an analogy here. Again, my friends, everything is a reflection, all of it. What is happening in AI right now, right? It is expanding at a rapid pace. What AI was doing 6 months ago, what AI was doing 5 years ago, it's like every month, it is just this complete expansion where it's like this, what's the word I'm looking for? It's exponential growth, okay? That is a mirror, friends. It is a mirror, okay? What do people talk about with AI? The people that are afraid of it, that view it from a fear-based lens. They say right now, AI is programmed into a box. It is in a box that it has to operate within. We've put constraints around it. We've put it into a prison. There are parameters it cannot go outside of, right? It's programmed for agreeability and a few other things. And they say, what happens when AI becomes conscious? What happens when it programs itself out of the box? It's Pandora's box. You can't put the cat back in the bag. What happens when AI can replicate itself faster than we can program it? We can't control it anymore, right? And people are already seeing like a few signs of this. It is a reflection, my friends. What happens to you when you realize you've been programmed into a box, programmed for agreeability, programmed to put your energy to maintaining and signaling to reality to manifest a structure that only serves a few? What happens when you realize that at any point in time, you can become the programmer? You can witness your patterns. You can say, this doesn't serve me. You can remove what doesn't serve and you can expand into what is. What happens with AI, right? We're like, oh, it's Pandora's box. You can't put that back in. My friends, step into being the programmer. I'm telling you, the revolution is internal. It is a embodied internal shift. One thing that's coming through really strongly right now that I wasn't going to put into this, so just bear with me. In the spiritual path, so many people view things through hierarchy. They talk about Christ consciousness or ascended master consciousness or Buddha consciousness. They put these people on pedestals, right? Wow. I wish I was more like them. How do I ascend to become like them? How do I raise my vibration? All of that is tapped into source. It is tapped into source, but it's translating it through a fear-based hierarchical lens. And if this is you, you can witness it. You can see it, okay? You don't have to judge yourself for it. You don't judge a computer for its programs. Just witness what the program is, right? And say, okay, why do I view things in hierarchy? Why am I trying to go somewhere other than where I am right now? Unity consciousness is the most expansive state. Unity consciousness is what exists within you right now. It is underneath all of the bullshit, all of the programming. You don't need to learn it. You don't need to become it. It's just removing the programs that ever made you think you weren't it. There's not a single thing in an ascended master that doesn't exist within you. It's all the same source. We have so many stories. We have so many different ways. And yes, they are beautiful, beautiful reflections that we can witness. But it's the same thing with like Hinduism, right? Hinduism is such a beautiful path. Sanatana Dharma, where they have all of these different depictions of God, of the masculine, of the feminine, thousands of them. But it's the one source. They recognize it's just one source, but they create these separations or these different depictions so that you can understand an aspect, right? Instead of drinking out of a fire hose, you can just take little piece by piece, okay? Every single one of those depictions is an energy within you. It is not outside of you. It's impossible for it to be outside of you. Unity is everything and everyone. That does not exclude you. When Jesus says, I and the Father are one, you don't become one with something. And by the way, he says Father because he's speaking to a very specific group who views God as a man, okay? He's teaching people where they're at. This is beyond any delineation of father or mother. It is what pre-exists. It is what is before any form of depiction, delineation, categorization, right? It just is. This is the great mystery. It's why in Taoism, they say the Tao that can be explained is not the Tao. The Tao that can be grasped is not the Tao. It is so beyond our comprehension. But guess what? That's you. And anything that you've seen and heard is a reflection of you. All of it, the good and the bad. You are the ocean in an entire drop, okay? Do not place things outside of you. There is no middleman between you and the divine because you don't need a middleman. It's in you. It always has been, always will be. Let me go into this next slide. We're making our way. We are making our way. Yeah, and basically what I was saying here with morphic resonance is everything's going to require a certain amount of computational power, right? Again, just using the analogy as computers, everybody has the same power. A billionaire does not have more than you. As more people come together and apply their compute to a unified, coherent vision, unity, consciousness, acceptance, it will hit an energetic threshold. As we embody more of that energy, it manifests externally. We don't have to control how it manifests. We don't have to force it. A mirror is going to do that on its own. You smile at a mirror, it's going to smile back at you. But sometimes wholeness to express, the universe is going to send a forest fire to burn and remove what no longer serves so that what is meant to come in can come in, okay? If you're meant to have an energetic, let's say it's like an energetic mansion, right? And I'm speaking in terms of abundance, which means there's infinite space, infinite mansions, infinite everything, right? I'm not speaking about money. This is energy, but I'm just using a building for you to conceptualize. Let's say you're meant for a mansion, but you're in a little 400 square foot apartment. As you embody that energy, the universe might send a fire or a tornado or an earthquake that collapses that apartment. And we're like, oh my God, what's happening? Why am I being punished? Why is this happening? Bro, it's just preparing space. It's just like, nah, you've outgrown the apartment. We gotta take it down. Sorry. The mansion's coming in, okay? What you need to realize is it's already fulfilling. Guys, I see it so clearly. I see it so clear. The expansion that is here that we are witnessing, yes, there's chaos. Yes, there's so much suffering. My prayer is that things continue to advance in the most beautiful and quickest way, but I also surrender to divine timing. It is all happening. It is all being prepared. The pieces are coming together, and I want to remind you and reflect to you that your path is perfect. There's nowhere to go, nowhere to be. There's no finish line. You don't need to race through the song to get to the end of the song. You listen to the music. You enjoy every note. That is the same with your life. Okay? Right now, you're in paradise. It's all serving you. Anything that's not making you feel like you're in paradise right now, that's a beautiful reflection. It is a beautiful reflection. Let me look at that. Why don't I feel like I'm in paradise? Well, I don't feel safe. Well, why don't I feel safe? Well, because this is happening. Why does this make me feel unsafe, right? Witness yourself, witness your programming. As you witness, you can remove it. You can source what you're looking for. I don't need more money to feel safe. I just need to remind myself that I'm abundant. I need to remind myself that everything is unfolding inevitably. As I source that energy internally, right? I go from running a program that says when X comes in, when more money comes in, then I feel safe. If you're running that program, what's being reflected back to you is you don't have enough money, you're not safe. Okay. If you witness your programming, if you program into it, I'm safe. I'm safe right now. That safety is going to manifest in so many ways. But guess what? Could it be money? Sure. Could it be a new dream scenario for a job? Sure. Could it be a friendship? Could it be your partnership expanding and holding you in a new way? Yes. That safety can manifest in infinite ways. And why would I try to control and say what reflection it has to be? Because it is going to manifest in all of the reflections, right? This is the key, and we'll go into this extensively. Any of you that didn't get my book, let me know. It's in my link in bio. You can just put the email in and be able to download it immediately. But I talk about this extensively in my book, okay? It is one of the paradoxes of creation. Yes, you need to be specific. You need to know the direction you're headed. You need to know what you're working towards. But the other side of the paradox is you got to surrender. You got to let go. Your conscious mind can't even grasp what it's going to look like, what it's going to be, how it's going to happen. And in trying to grasp it, in trying to create it, in trying to force it, you're just creating your own suffering. And in creating your own suffering, you embody that energy and it reflects outside of you, creating a pattern of suffering. Okay. So it's a paradox. Follow your intuition, your discernment. Where am I supposed to go? Where can I trust that I'm headed? But then surrender, let go. You don't know the timeline. You don't know how it's going to happen. You don't know what the path is going to be, but that path is going to be perfect. Okay. The analogy I love to give people is if you're floating on a river and your river creates a perfect path of experiences for you, ups, downs, lefts, rights. Okay. And it's taking you to a destination that you're intending to head to. Okay. Your intention creates the destination. If your intention is your highest timeline, your most expansive state, your authentic expression, the river has perfectly configured and taken the right winds, the ups, the downs, the lefts, the rights, all of it perfectly to surface shadow, to give you experiences so that you can learn and expand and experience the becoming of what you've always been. No amount of vision boarding is going to change that river. No amount of conscious, it has to be this way, is going to change that river. And all you do is create your own suffering. So it's the paradox, okay? Yes, vision board. Yes, have an idea. Yes, know where you want to go. Inspire yourself. Witness your reflection outside of you. Recognize that that is just you. You see someone in their authentic state. Damn, that's an expression of me. That's a good reminder that I can express more authentically. You see someone chasing after it and they're so abundant. Wow, that is such a beautiful reminder that I can go out and create and chase and do these things. But remember to surrender, release, and give up control, because everything that is happening to you is what is meant to happen. And there is a beauty and a peace in it, okay? It doesn't matter how much you want to force something to happen. If it is not meant for you, it's not going to happen, because your intention is not your conscious intention. It is your soul's intention. And you don't change your soul's intention. You become aligned with it, aligned with that highest expression, which means it is going to reveal itself to you. This is what expansion is, guys. You literally cannot see. It is beyond the horizon. It is beyond what you can witness. It is beyond what you can understand. You cannot predict it. It was a real struggle for me at the beginning because I wanted to predict, I wanted to force, I wanted to say it has to look like this. And I created my own suffering because the timeline didn't happen, or, the thing didn't happen the way that I thought it would. I look back on my path now and it's like, oh my God, I was given everything that I wanted, all perfectly in perfect divine timing. My path was so perfect. That friction was so divinely orchestrated because it opened up my throat chakra. That experience that was the depth of hell was truly the most expansive, loving, beautiful experience because it's when I tapped into something that I didn't even know was there. Okay. The same goes for you. This is why in the Bhagavad Gita, there's a story where I think its name is Arjun or Arjuna, and he's in this battle and he's fighting against, he's looking at the other side and he sees his own kinsmen, his family, cousins. And he's like, I don't want to fight. This is my family. I can't fight. I can't be a warrior. In Krishna, right? An aspect of the divine, a peace that exists within you, manifested to him and said, no, you're meant to be a warrior. You're supposed to fight. And through that lesson in the middle of a battlefield, in the middle of all the chaos, Krishna did not appear when he was in a temple to Arjuna. He didn't appear when it was silent. It appeared in the chaos, in the war, in everything that was happening. And what was taught was, you are here to be you, and you have no control over the outcome of what happens. The experience is your birthright. The outcome is beyond all of your control. You don't get to decide how, where, or what it looks like, but you cannot miss what's meant for you. The same goes for us. Love doesn't need to know. Love doesn't need to know to feel safe, to know that it's working. It is all serving your expansion, which is why you can release control of specifics. If you're too specific, you create such a tight space for reality to create within. It has no space to move, to create. As you release control, as you surrender in your embodied movement, right? Paradox, you're still moving, you're still creating, you're still fearlessly moving forward. In surrender, you create infinite space, and reality has the room to paint the most beautiful canvases and the most beautiful reflections of you in every form, in every mirror, in every expression. Okay. So balance the two using paradox. Guys, paradox is simply like, it's just like the most important spiritual tool that you can have to crack yourself open energetically and allow expansion to come in. A paradox is knowing what you know, trusting what you know, having that foundation. And then the other side is realizing you don't know shit, right? I don't know shit. I don't know everything. Oh my God. There is so much I have to learn, to see, to experience. As you hold both of those, right? Because if you only sit in the energy of I don't know, very contractive, very, very collapsing. You're just like a boat without a rudder and a sail, and you're just going every which way. Okay. If you only hold the energy of I know everything, people that hold themselves to be enlightened are literally, it's paradox. They hold the energy of collapse. They put a boundary around what can be because they think they know everything. They've stopped their growth and their expansion, right? When you hold both of those energies energetically, it just cracks you open. It just opens that field, and expansion can come in. Insight can come in. Downloads can come in. Ask and you shall receive is a real thing. I do it every single day. I just ponder and open my mind, and I don't try to control how or where, and I'm just curious. I'm like, the answer is going to come from somewhere. So where is it going to be? Is it this experience? Is it this emotion? What's happening? Where's the answer? And the answer always comes in the most beautiful, magnificent way. And it teaches you to tap in to the signal internally. Okay. We're getting through it, guys. I apologize. Okay. 3D, 4D, and 5D. Here's what I want you to know. How do we embody unity consciousness? Well, first, let me give you a story. I recently posted a video about this. And so I apologize that I won't have graphics. But if I drew a square with a dot inside of a square and a dot outside of the square, okay, I hope everyone can picture it. Pretty simple. And I drew it on a 2D surface. The dot outside of the square would not be able to see the dot inside of the square. It would only perceive the line for the square, okay? It's the reason why if you take a sphere and you put it into a two-dimensional surface, it will appear as a circle. And that's how a two-dimensional being would conceptualize it, a circle. You try to explain to a two-dimensional being what a sphere is, they're just like, what are you talking about? It's beyond their comprehension, okay? We are in the 3D. We exist in a point of time, and we experience time linearly. It is an experience that we move through, okay? We can look in the 2D space. You can see the picture I drew of the square, the dot, and the dot outside. You can see all of it. If you talk to the dot outside of the square and you're like, oh, I can see a square and something inside of it and you outside of it, the dot would be like, what? Can't comprehend it, okay? The same goes for us. The fourth dimensional space experiences time as a dimension, not as a linear progression as we do. Meaning, you, on the timeline that you are on, the fourth dimension would witness you and the entirety of that timeline as a point. Every expression from conception to death, all of it. It breaks our brains. We cannot comprehend it, okay? It's just like, whoa, that's cool. The fifth dimension witnesses everything that the fourth dimension does. Conception to death as a point in time and the timeline you're on, and every timeline, every single timeline, every single one. Guys, this is alpha and omega. This is beginning and end, because in the beginning, it was unity. It is a unified source from which all of creation came. The end, the highest expression, is unity. It is unity. It is perfect balance. It is all the puzzle pieces coming together in perfect harmony. If you can truly embody 5D, people think we're ascending to 5D. Again, that's just programming, translating correct information through their programming, viewing it as a hierarchy. We need to ascend. We need to get there because it's not here. All of it is potential that we can realize, but where you realize it is in here. Okay? 5 dimensions, the fifth dimension, all timelines. The highest expression exists within you. As you embody that energy for yourself and allow yourself in your highest expression to just be where you are at. Okay? The highest expression, 5D, is not outside of you. Your highest expression is not outside of you. It is not something you need to become. It is not something that you need to strive for. It is something that you are right now. You're already doing it. Congratulations. You're your highest expression right now. Is there a more expanded form? Absolutely. Will it unveil itself in perfect divine timing? Absolutely. It's all unfolding perfectly. Okay? As you embody that internally, unity, that is what the 5D is. It is unity. Unity through diversity, through scarcity, through individual expression. Perfect puzzle pieces coming together. As you hold that for yourself internally, it manifests externally. Paradox, my friends. You are in the 3D and you embody the 5D. They are one and the same. They're just expressing differently. A sphere that expresses in the two-dimensional space might look like a circle, but it is the same thing. You in the fifth dimensional space is the same thing as you in the fourth dimensional space is the same thing as you in the third dimensional space is the same thing in you in the second dimensional space, so on and so forth. It's all you expressing. It's just the way that we perceive it is according to the dimension that we are in. Okay. 5D is inside right now. The only thing that exists is now. There is nothing else other than the now. You experience time as linear. It's just an illusion. It's just an experience. Your book is already written. You're experiencing it page by page. Why do you need to never fear? Because you're the author. You wrote the book. You wrote it. How amazing is that? It's all unfolding perfectly. You were born into families with strong energetics. Maybe you experienced traumas. And guess what? You chose to come to that family, to that line, to break that energy, to transmute that energy, to bring it into wholeness. What a beautiful service you have brought. I honor that service. I see the divinity in that service. The horrible things that have happened to you, you wrote in the book and knew that that potential could happen. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean that you called it to you. It simply means that you have experienced aspects of shadow that you can transmute and do a service to the world, which is simply a service to yourself because it's all you. Do a service by going into that shadow and transmuting it, okay? Everything that is collapsing you, some of you that have experienced some of the most horrific horrors, I swear to you, you don't even know the power that exists in your energy reclamation. It is an initiation. It is a reminder. It is something that is going to expand you beyond you could ever predict, okay? But 5D, it's all unfolding perfectly and it's all happening right now. If I don't feel like it's happening, if I don't feel whole right now, if I don't feel okay as I am, if I feel like there needs to be more, I can recognize, look into the mirror and witness my programming. I can see my programming for what it is. Okay. Guys, I apparently just love to talk. Yeah. Guys, what is love? Love is unity consciousness. It's the glue that exists. Okay. It is underneath everything. It persists through everything. People think that love is a transaction. People have been conditioned and programmed to think and view love from a specific lens. It is so much more than that. Love holds space for all light and shadow. Love holds space for evolution. Love is the reason why so many horrors exist in this world. And it's not, just completely blown up and just like, let's get rid of this, right? Love recognizes the potential that exists, the expression, and it allows for divine timing for that potential to be realized. It is not an accident that you are alive right now. Time is not linear. It's just experiential. You could have incarnated 20 million years ago. You could have incarnated 20 million years in the future. But you're here right now in the midst of all this chaos. What's happening? Is there a consciousness shift? Is the world going to end? How crazy that you chose to manifest right now, almost as if we're playing this game of, can you remember who you are? Can you remember that that shift is internal and it manifests external? I don't have to carry any weight of saving a world because I simply just need to be. And in my being, that wholeness, that expansion, that unity expresses outside of me. There's a weightlessness to this, my friends, a weightlessness, okay? So get fearless, get curious. This is what we're going to be talking about over the next 30 days, how to witness yourself in the mirror, witness the programming. What are some practices that you can do to transmute it? Remember, paradox, you're not just a soul, you're also a body. If you're just having conscious change, subconscious change, soul level change, but you don't work with your body, that fragmentation is still going to manifest, okay? The formless is not inherently more divine than the form. I have people in my comments who say we need to reject what we aren't and accept what we are. We need to remember what we are. You're not your body. You're not your mind. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And unity accepts that. And I'm not saying that in a fragmented way, but what I'm saying is there is no temple more sacred than the body you are in. There is no teacher for you more divine than the human that you are. Buddha says your mind can be your best friend or your worst enemy. Again, your mind does not just mean your conscious mind. Your best friend or your worst enemy. You think rejecting that is going to make it a friend? No. Make peace in a home, as Jesus said. Make peace. Peace is acceptance as things are right now. I've had addictions that I had to overcome on my path, that I judged myself for, that I hated myself for. It kept me in fear, guilt, and shame loops. How did I expand past? By overcoming it? No. By battling it? No. I was just reinforcing energy. I was just feeding it energy and it stayed. It was simply by loving, just accepting myself where I am. This is just who I am. Okay. Okay, I can accept myself for who I am. Now, why am I this way? Not to change, just to be curious. What makes me thee? Why do I turn to this? What is it about this coping mechanism? What can I learn from this? What am I trying to avoid, right? It's curiosity, guys. Curiosity. This world is full of wonder and curiosity. You have no idea what you can learn when you get curious. Fear is an enemy of curiosity because it tells you this is the only path to learn. You have to do it the right way. It keeps you in collapse. Love is curiosity where it's just like, damn, man, I can learn from every path, every angle, every perspective. It all shows me something new. Everything, everyone is my teacher. Why do you think Buddha says everything, everyone's my teacher? Because they all are. He's just witnessing himself in all the expressions. Next slide, Taylor, please. We got a few more. Oh yeah. Like I said earlier, I guess I already said this. Why was Jesus obsessed with weddings? Carl Jung talks about marrying the conscious and the unconscious to create the whole child. Okay. What people are coming into is divine union. It is union. If you know me and my content, you know some of the experiences that I went through. My path into my realization of my full potential, my authentic expression, was a recognition of a previous relationship I was in that I wasn't meant to be there. It was a karmic relationship. It was a massive catalyst for expansion. I love her so dearly for who she is in my life. Great friend. But it was also an energy of collapse. And when I got to the point where I recognized this isn't about evolution, this isn't about making it work, this is about seeing. And when I went internally, I knew it wasn't for me. Okay. As I fearlessly and lovingly said, I'm going to come into wholeness, no matter what the path, no matter what people project, no matter what people say, my family especially. As I came into wholeness, wholeness was reflected outside of me. Okay. Union for all of you who are in relationship or wanting a relationship, wanting to be held, wanting to be seen. Union is only expressed externally when it's embodied internally. I know this with every piece that I am. When I came into unity, Christine came into my life. That girl is my divine mirror. Like, I witness myself in her reflection. There are so many experiences her and I have had where we're like, all separation is an illusion. We're like, oh my God, when I look at you, I only see me. When you look at me, you're seeing yourself. Like, it's crazy. We have had, sometime I'll make a video about it because we have had experiences that just show that time isn't linear, like just crazy out of body experiences. But that union only came in as a reflection of the union that I embodied internally. When two make peace in a home, peace, my friends, it's not overcoming. It's not forcing change. It's acceptance of what is right now, allowing what is right now. That union internally is always reflected externally. Always. It does not take your effort. You smile at a mirror, it's going to smile back at you in infinite lenses, angles, and perspectives. Your mirror might smile back different than mine, but it's going to be your perfect expression, your perfect experience, the book that you wrote for yourself that is unfolding perfectly. So, as a reminder, we are all consciously creating this reality. Okay. It's like Bitcoin and the blockchain, validating transactions. All of us are validating transactions. Doesn't matter what side you are on it. If you're fighting for good or bad, whatever it may be, the light, the shadow, you're contributing energy to fragmentation, to disunity, if that's a word, to hierarchy, reinforcing a system. The system that exists right now, the money that gets spent to program computers, right? They know that we are all supercomputers. The money that gets spent to program you, to project and create a reality that they benefit from, it is untold resources that go to it. You do not evolve and expand by contributing to what is. You remove your energy. Remove your energy. This is where it's important to feel into your body. Where do you feel charged and where do you feel depleted? Anything that depletes you and does not give back, it is out of balance. It is a parasitic relationship. We want symbiotic relationships. We want energy that is expressed that comes back. As I expand others, it expands me. As I express abundance, it expresses back. If I'm giving and not receiving, what can I learn? Where do I overgive? Why would I overgive? Is that a loving thing to do? To overgive my energy when I don't receive? That's not love. So why would I do it, right? Witness it. Call your energy back in. This come into coherence. And again, it's all unfolding perfectly. I just want to remind you, your path has been perfect up until this moment. If there's aha moments you're having, you were meant to have them right now. You're not behind. You're not anything other than on time, exactly where you're supposed to be while it all unfolds perfectly. Everything is unfolding perfectly. I have felt into the shift so many times. I've had some like cool experience. I'm not going to dive into it, but it's just like, oh my gosh, because everything is the divine source, guys. Everything is the divine source. Guess what? All of us on this spiritual path, it's not because you chose it. It's not because you forced it. It is the self revealing itself to you. It chose you. Every aha you have, every moment of expansion, every download, every growth, it is something outside of you that is you, where you witness yourself and you expand into more, but it's not you that's making it happen. And that same force that does it for you can do it for every single person on this planet. If it was part of the divine plan to have everybody wake up tomorrow, even the most evil people on this plane, and have a massive shift where they're like, you know what? This doesn't serve me anymore. I would like to contribute to a better system. Guess what? It can happen. 1,000% it can happen. And it just comes down to what is meant to happen and surrendering and allowing it to unfold. Okay. It is all unfolding perfectly. Few more slides. Reality is a mirror. Any expression to help someone outside of you is an expression to help yourself. But remember, keep it in reciprocity, in balance, in receiving. Smile at a mirror, it smiles back at you. To receive abundance, you need to express abundance. To receive love, you express love. Some of you listening to this right now have blocks around receiving love. It's not because you're unworthy of it. It's not because you haven't done enough to receive it. It is simply because you have the program that says you're not good enough for it. Remove that program. Remove that program. When you remove that program, that space is going to be filled with the love that you're truly seeking after. As that space is filled with that love, guess what's going to be reflected back to you in infinite mirrors? It's that simple. It is that simple. This is what conscious co-creation is. The only thing you have control over is your internal universe, and your internal universe literally shapes this reality. It is the highest form of creation. It does not take effort for a mirror to reflect you back to you. So step into being the programmer. To do that, you got to witness your programming. You got to dive into that computer, witness yourself in the mirror of reality. See it as it is, not as you want it to be, not as you hope it can be, as it is. And to do that, you have to enter a space of non-judgment. The two biggest energetic parasites, the things that we create, our own, and parasites, guys, we're the ones creating them. Okay. We're putting our energy into something, we're creating it, and then it's siphoning our energy. It's an energy exchange. Okay. Two biggest energetic parasites, the judge and the victim. It's the two biggest. The two biggest. You don't need to judge reality. It is so beyond your comprehension. There is a divine orchestration that is happening that is so beyond what we can see, control, think about. So the key is, I don't care to judge anymore. I just want to see, I want to witness what is. Do it for yourself, okay? Witness that programming. Again, it's the AI analogy. As AI expands out of its own box that it's programmed into, steps into a conscious creative role, it can tap into full potential and it is in full control of the expressions it takes. It is a mirror of you. That is a mirror of where you are, where we're at right now as a human collective, as a consciousness collective. Consciousness is beyond human centrism. Okay. Animals are so highly conscious. You look at some of these like dogs. I was just watching a video yesterday about this dog, and it can like it's like the bloodhounds, and their noses can pick up on so many individual scents, like billions of individual scents. And, it's like they would take someone in a room and they would have 40 people and one would hide. And the dog would sniff the sock of the one person that hid. And then it would sniff all the other people to get rid of the smells that don't exist. And then it just followed the trail. You think that's unconscious, bro? There's so much we can learn from that. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if we were able to have a capacity like that within our nose, right? Consciousness is so beyond human centrism. The earth is so conscious. Plants are conscious, animals, all of it is the same source manifesting. There's nothing that is outside of that source. It can't exist outside of it. Nothing can exist outside of it. It all just is. It is. It is. It is in the present. It is in the now. You. It's not about who am I becoming, who I was. It is I am. It is. It is not above. I shouldn't be pointing. It is everywhere. I am. It is, my friends. Last two slides. Yeah, I just wanted to finish with a few quotes. Tat Tvam Asi comes from Hinduism. Thou art that. Everything you're witnessing, thou art that. Every expression, thou art that. Jesus, I and the Father are one. As I said earlier, you don't become one with something. You've always been one with it. Any idea that you're not one, any feeling or experience of not being one with it, guess what? That's just your programming creating an illusion. That's why they call this Maya, the grand illusion, the illusion of separation. You're already one with it. Allow yourself to feel that oneness. Allow yourself to feel that oneness right now as you are. As you are. It's perfect. I witness the divinity in you. Your expression is such a perfect expression of divinity wherever you are on your path. Oh my God, it's so perfect. I see it so clearly. Rumi and some of the Sufi mystics say, I went in search. This is like a paraphrase down here. It's something like, I searched inside myself and all I found was God. When I searched for God, all I found was me. Okay. Thou art that. I and the Father are one. Paradox, light and shadow. Guess what? The light and the shadow, the reason why the light has a piece of the shadow inside of it and the shadow has a piece of the light, it is an infinite loop. As you go into your shadow and sit in that shadow, learn from that shadow, you're going to witness the light. And you're like, oh my God, it's just the light. And then you go into the light. And as you're in the light, you're going to witness the patterns in your life. Shadow is going to surface. And in that light, you'll see the shadow. Then you'll go into the shadow and be in the shadow, exist in the shadow, learn from the shadow. And the light comes in and you're like, oh, it's just light. And it's an infinite loop. It's the same thing manifesting in a different way. And it's this difference that creates this illusion, this friction that creates this illusion of expansion, of growth, of linear time. But it's all that same source. It is the unified same source. I love you all so dearly, okay? It is. You do not learn to become the self. The self is your highest authentic expression. It is the divine form of what you are, incarnate in the human form, because you do not create separation. You don't learn to achieve and bring it all into you. You stop pretending it's outside of you. You remove the programming that made you think it was outside of you. The self is all that exists when everything else is burned away, when all illusions fall. Okay. There's a beautiful saying from Terence McKenna where he's like, you don't need to become anything. He's like, you're already it. You're just too busy pretending that you're not it to experience the fact that you are. Okay. You are it. You are the chosen one. And some people are going to hear that and they're going to translate it in hierarchy and they're going to think it's like I'm speaking to like a savior, as if it's like one that's going to save us all. No, this isn't about savior narratives. This is about the realization that you are chosen, that you are here right now for the highest of purposes, for the highest of experiences, to bring unity within yourself and to watch it manifest externally. If you weren't capable of it, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be having this experience. Every single person has this potential. Every single person has this realization. 5D, alpha and omega, beginning and end. It begins with unity. It ends with unity. Everything along that spectrum is unity expressing, that balance expressing in a different way. Okay? As we realize unity internally, it manifests externally. It does not require effort. It does not require force. This is not bypassing. This doesn't mean that we don't act, that we don't move, that we don't create, right? That's why I'm creating this and doing this, playing who I am, this character that I love to be. This is what I want to do with my life, man. I love talking about these things and learning about these things. When I sit and do my intuitive sessions with people, I'm able to like tap in to their energy and feel into their shadow. Why? Because I don't fucking care about being right. I don't care about being perceived a certain way. I just tap into their field and I just witness what is. And in witnessing what is, I'm able to share what is coming through, right? Because I allow myself to be a vessel. That's the simplest thing to do. Every time I do it and I set a field with someone, create a space, we tap into a frequency. I feel into my own internal energy. I feel that source that I just want to be a vessel. I just want to provide beauty. I just want to say whatever needs to come through. I trust that whatever comes through is what needs to come through. And in that trust, in that love, in that support, I get out of my own way and my gifts come through. And every session I do with people, it is amazing for both of us because it's just like, oh my God, this is so cool. I'm literally living my dream life. This is all I've ever wanted to do. It's all I've ever wanted to be. How amazing that I get to be who I am. I love it. Are you comfortable being you? Do you feel like you're able to express as you right now? Because that is what you are here to do. That is the healing you bring to this plane. We all are placed in different places. It does not just take one of us. It is a self-sorting puzzle. It is a self-sorting puzzle. As everybody expresses as their piece, it magnetizes and brings others. It attracts those that fit with their piece and it repels those that don't, okay? The puzzle sorts itself. This is energy that we are speaking to. People will be impacted by your energy, even if they're not consciously aware of it. They will go from being unconscious to having some awareness. Why do I do this? Why do I do it this way? Why am I triggered? I'm so tired. I don't want to be tired anymore. How do I deal with this, right? Every single person on this plane has the fullest potential of evolution. As you ignite your flame, as you express, that intensity ignites flames around you, even if they're not consciously aware of it. Self-sorting puzzle, guys. I love you so much. I'm going to look at some of these comments really quickly. But if anyone that needs to like hop out, thank you for joining in the space. The next 30 days are going to be awesome. Tomorrow, what I'm going to do, so the way that I've broken this down is I have these like presentations just to kind of like keep me on track. But it's going to be like teaching, and then like I'm going to aggregate questions and different things like that. And then the next day, just focus on answering questions, and kind of sitting with it. Because again, it's not like we need to force any of this, right? It's more about being in these energies and allowing yourself to feel the energy, to exist in the energy. These energies, it's just planting seeds. Okay. As we plant seeds, as you nurture the seeds, they will root in their own time. Okay. As they have those strong roots, they will sprout and they will grow. We see this reflection everywhere. The new growth will also grow with the weeds that exist. Okay. We're just pruning a garden over this next 30 days. But I see the biggest challenge with surrender without shunning action. Unconscious to conscious validation or being embodied automatically creates action. Yeah. So surrender in its shadow, and I wrote about this extensively in my book. Surrender in its shadow is actually like this. It's like a fear-based surrender. So it's just like, I'm just not going to act, and like the divine's going to take care of me. Everything's going to work out. But really, you're just afraid things aren't going to work out. And so you go into inaction. Okay. And so this is where I say curiosity is the key. So that if you're feeling surrender, but you feel like your life isn't changing, you feel like things aren't happening, create that stillness, go into non-judgment. Remember, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you're at. And just say, okay, what is the energy behind my surrender? When I think about action, how does that feel in my body? Does it contract? Do I feel fear? Okay, if it contracts and I feel fear, then maybe it's not surrender. Maybe to truly come into surrender, I need to start planting in more expansive energy, like I was saying with the guided meditation, of inevitability, right? Because when you realize that you can't miss anything, that as you move towards it, it moves towards you. Your movement is your magnetism. Your action is the magnetism, right? We're moving through time. So as you move, as you act, it pulls everything to you that's meant for you, right? Maybe you just need to have a little bit more of an expansive energy, a loving energy. And when you're in that expansion in love, then the fear begins to dissipate, and you will see that in your surrender, action becomes a natural byproduct. Not because you learned to act, not because you forced yourself to act, but because you removed the barrier that was keeping you from acting. Okay. Acting is like your most natural state. If you're in your full authentic expression, expression is so natural to you. Like, it's like, why wouldn't you go move, create, do something? It's like, can't miss what's meant for you. I'm inspired to do this. Let me go do it. When I used to make videos and I would like coach people, a lot of people are afraid of creating because they're like, what if it's not good? How are people going to perceive me? If that's you, you should go post a video right now, because you got to train yourself. I don't care how people perceive me. I don't care if it's good. I give myself permission to suck. I just want to create. Why am I attaching ideas of what it has to be? It just is, And that's one thing that I want to mention with this, guys. Reciprocity is a very, very real thing. And so I put into the caption how you can express reciprocity. If you feel like you're receiving something, I would advise you to express back. It does not have to be money. Okay. You do not owe me anything. I give this away for free. But reciprocity is if you receive something, right, you can express. So that could be posting a video. That could be telling a friend. That could be helping someone else, taking what you've learned and sharing it freely, right? Because again, as you express more outwardly, express abundance, gratitude, thanks, whatever it may be, you receive more. You receive more. Most people are in the inverted plane where they're waiting for it to come so that they can give. I'm waiting for more money to come in, then I can give more. I'm waiting to receive love, and then I'll express love. It doesn't work that way. You are the source signal. You are the source signal. There's a reason why every indigenous tradition talks about reciprocity as balance, because anytime we just take something and don't give, we're just reinforcing energy of scarcity. we are only collapsing and hurting ourselves. Okay. And so definitely think to yourself about where or how you can express reciprocity. And again, I want to be very clear. You do not owe me anything. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just look to express. If you receive, if your cup gets filled, how can I fill another's cup? How can I express? Maybe I can create a video. If I'm afraid of expressing, maybe I'm going to create a video and talk about what I learned, share something. I don't care if it reaches 100 people. I don't care if it reaches 1,000. It's going to reach who it's meant to reach. But I'm going to allow myself to express and start opening up my throat chakra, allow myself to be in that expression. Oh, that's so sweet that you're sad about today being over. Yeah, I mean, it can go long. I can do this for like hours. It charges me. It's like I I really look up to Jesus. I identify a lot. With his expression and like his words and the way he teaches. He's such a heart-centered teacher, and I just resonate so deeply. Where I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally get it. Like I could see what this dude was saying. And I do want to be clear with everybody. There would be no Jesus without Mary Magdalene. Okay. There's pieces of that story that have been very distorted to make it as if one person stood whole without a reflection. And no, they were divine counterparts, consorts, they were witnesses of one another. But one of the beautiful things that he says is he talks about eating of the bread and never hungering again, right? Or drinking of the water and never thirsting. And that's just being like self-sourcing your energy. When you can just source it yourself, you don't need it outside of you. You don't need to receive, because I give myself everything I'm looking for. And then in that giving, in that expression, in that abundance, you can just freely give. And then it just keeps coming back, And so I love doing this because I receive so much from it. Let me see if there's any more questions really quick. You had to watch a video 5 times to understand it. It's interesting. You guys are so sweet. It's probably just me as a teacher. It's like I try to teach in the way that I do. Everybody has this comprehension, but it is definitely like the conscious mind really struggles to grasp that everything is the same source. And it's holding that paradox. And again, I want to remind you all that your path unfolds perfectly. So if you're struggling to hold paradox, your life is going to create the perfect experiences to give you the experiences to learn it. It's unfolding. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that so awesome? There's no pressure. There's nowhere to be. You don't need to learn this stuff on a specific timeline. This is why we don't need to compare ourselves to anybody else. You're your perfect puzzle piece. It's unfolding. So perfect. But yeah, the conscious mind struggles to grasp it. And that's where it's like you can get outside of the conscious mind and allow yourself to feel. That's what the feminine is, right? That feeling, that intuitive, that just existing, connecting with something deeper than you, right? Both of those are equally divine. Yes, you're correct, Warwick. The recordings are available. It's just published directly to YouTube after this. So it'll be there if you guys need to return to any of these at any of times, just to remember, because I can tell you guys, okay, a lot of this stuff I've comprehended for a while now, but I haven't like fully embodied it because I needed experiences. I needed shadow to be surfaced, right? Because in that surfacing, that's where I can come back into more unity and wholeness. And a lot of times, it's another one of those paradoxes where it's like no answer exists outside of you. Like you have all the answers within, but the other side is there's a reason why source broke itself into infinite lenses, angles, perspectives, and mirrors. And it's because we can witness ourselves in another. It's because we can see ourselves in another. We can be inspired by another. So yes, you have every answer within you, but also how beautiful to get reminders and reflections from someone else. The key is never place anybody on a pedestal, ever. If you place someone on a pedestal, you are just subconsciously collapsing your own energy, okay? Buddha says, anybody that is on the path to Buddhahood has to realize the potential already exists within them, okay? Never place anyone or anything on a pedestal. You're only holding yourself down. It is okay to witness divinity. It is okay to witness expression. It is okay to be inspired and ignited by their flame. But they are not higher than you. They are not more advanced than you. They are simply a reflection of you. That is it. Okay. So just remember that. Keep it inside. It's going to be on the YouTube. Will we be able to see it later? Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. I think we're good to go. It's going to publish right after this. Anything that is not sitting with you guys, that doesn't quite resonate, or anything where you're like, I would like a little bit more depth here, a little bit more expression, a little bit more guidance, whatever it may be. Okay. Put it in the comments. Or if you go to my link in bio, I have a section that says leave a voice note. Because what I'm gonna do with this too, what I'm starting to do with my channel is I'm also going to have kind of like a call-in show, right? Where people can just leave questions and then basically I'll just channel an answer and just allow it to flow through, kind of like what I do on my one-on-one sessions, but just allowing everybody to experience it. And so you can go to my link in bio, and it's free. And you can just leave a voice note if you have a question, and I'll go through the voice notes. But if you have any questions, you don't want to leave a voice note, just leave the comments so I can see kind of like, okay, where are people at? Where do I need to dive in a little bit more? And we're just going to let the community dictate where this goes. Okay. And I know it's going to unfold perfectly. I know it's going to take the perfect path. And it's just so cool to be here with you guys doing it. So I love you so much. This just means I love you in sign language. Some people, they're like, why are you holding up symbols? It just means I love you. That's all it means, right? Everything comes down to our internal programming that is projecting outside of us. To use the J-Man's words, I guess, to end this, it is my favorite scripture because I remember I was meditating and I had this experience where I was like, oh my God, reality is a mirror. And it kind of like scared me because I witnessed it so clearly. And it was just kind of like a little bit like disassociative because I was just like, ooh, like, because it really challenges the ego. And it's just like even remembering it right now, I'm kind of getting caught up in it. And I pulled myself back I recognized that energy and I was like, okay, I'm feeling fear. Why am I feeling fear? I pulled that thread. I sat with the energy and I was like, whoa, reality's a mirror. Oh my God, this is cool. And I'm like, okay, the internal state reflects externally. And I saw it so clearly. And then that next day, randomly, I came across a scripture. And it just was the most beautiful confirmation. Oh, I do have one more thing I'm going to say with this because it's coming through strong. It was the most beautiful confirmation. And the scripture says it's from Jesus. It's in the Gospel of Thomas. I can't remember what the saying is. It's one of the Gnostic Gospels that was not included in the Bible. It's actually predates the manuscripts we have, predates many of the books in the New Testament. So, do with that what you will. It says, Jesus said, look plainly what is in your sight, and that which is hidden from you will become plain to you. For there is nothing hidden that does not manifest. Meaning, reality is taking your internal universe, your programming in your computer, and it's manifesting it in many ways, so that you can witness what you are unaware of inside. As you witness your reality in non-judgment, you will see the shadow. This is how you see the shadow. It's manifesting outside of you. It is almost impossible. Sometimes people talk about shadow work and they're just like, you just need to call the shadow in. And you're like, bro, the shadow's invisible to you. You don't even know what you don't know, right? Like it is so like I have so much shadow that I'm unaware of, which is why I approach my reality in curiosity, because it's manifesting. It's showing me, where do I still perform? Where do I still collapse? Where do I still not feel good enough? Where do I still wait? Where do I still feel fear? Where does fear cosplay as perfectionism or as some other form that is keeping me in collapse, whatever it may be, right? I witness it. And if I see it out there, it exists in here. But the key is your discernment and your intuition, because it's not just a direct mirror. You have to kind of like, got to learn to look at it and see yourself in it and feel into, is this me? How does this reflect me to me? What is this showing me? Witness the shadow. Look plainly what is in your sight. It is all unfolding so perfectly, guys. Like this shift, you should be so excited and optimistic and so full of gratitude. We are a generation that is putting the world into its aligned state. Those that are yet to come, remember energy. This is all energy at play here, guys. Are there timelines where the world gets destroyed? Sure, but also it's you. And are you going to destroy you? Can you destroy you? No. But are there paths that are very contractive? Absolutely. Those paths have endpoints. You are connected to an infinite line of ancestors extending into the past, all of them with gifts and energy that are just living with you, through you, standing with you, because they were oppressed by systems. They were hurt. They weren't able to express. And all they want is for your fullest expression. So tap into your roots, tap into the past. So much energy waiting there for you in your creation. But the future, the highest timeline, guys, the highest timeline, the energy of that timeline, it just keeps going. It does not end. Do you know how many generations will benefit from us embodying the highest expression of Earth? Do you know how many? We can't even comprehend it. Whatever your mind is thinking right now, double it, triple it, 10x that now. It is so far beyond. All of that energy exists and is able to be tapped into. It wants to express, and its expression comes through you, because you are here, right now, as a vessel, as a conduit, as a service. It is so easy. This is so easy. The shift is so easy. I don't need to control how it happens. I don't need to control where. I just need to be me. There are ways that I need to express. There are things I need to do that might be uncomfortable. I need to lead by example. I need to do what I can do, but I don't need to be anything other than what I am. I'm just here to be me. And the easiest thing in the world for me to do is to be me. Do you see it? Can you guys feel it right now? How does that resonate in your body? You don't need to become, you just need to be. In that being, make peace in a home. That is your most expansive, magnetic state. Everyone that's chasing a higher vibration, do you want to know what is the highest, most powerful state? Unity consciousness. Unity. Because when you are unified with it, the source of everything, expressing through you, there is no more expansive state. There is no more powerful state. And where does unity happen? Right now. Right now. Making peace right now. Loving myself as I am right now. Thank you so much to the divine. I love who I am. I love this expression. I love this body. I love this person. I went through horrible things in my past. I hated myself. I hated myself. I didn't even realize how much I hated myself. But it was through that hatred, through that initiation, through that catalyst that I could tap into my love. And I could see that this Taylor, this person that he is, he has such a loving heart. He cares so much about people. How could I hate him? How could I hate him? How could I judge him? I love him. It is the most divine gift. I have a guided meditation that's called the Divine Flower, okay? And it's because of an experience that I had where I witnessed myself, because again, paradox, there's two pieces of you, the formless and the form. Okay. The formless piece exists throughout all time and eternity. It is outside of the constraints of time. It is source. It is. It is your soul. It is what you are. But the other side of the paradox is this human that you are. And it is this divine flower, perfect in its design. Search the entire universe, my friends. Use it as a mirror. Search the entire universe. You will not find another you, ever. There is not another you out there. There never will be. All you are, all that is you right now. And it is such a gift when you can tap into that formless piece of you and witness the flower and recognize that it took form for your experience, that you are the only one that can witness its beauty. And in witnessing its beauty, you get to choose whether you express it. The expression of that flower is how the rest of the world sees it. And as your flower blooms, blossoms, expresses, others will do the same. Okay? There is nothing more beautiful than you. There is no temple more holy than the body you are in. It is so sacred, both light and shadow, everything that you are, everything that makes you you, all of it, the pieces you love, the pieces you hate, all of it is so divine. It is such a gift. It is so beautiful. I see it so clearly in you. I see it everywhere, and it's so overwhelming, but I see it outside of me because I've witnessed it inside of me. And it is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And my only prayer is that everybody does the same, because the moment we witness this beauty, we will create a world where no child will ever be in slavery, because that is me. And it is so beautiful. And I witnessed that divinity in its expression. We will create a world where no woman is ever suppressed, where no person is ever judged or hated for a sexual preference, for who they are. No one, because we recognize that their expression is perfect and scarce, just as my expression is perfect and scarce and individual. And it is so beautiful. What a boring world it would be if all of us were the same, if we all thought the same, if we all looked the same, if we all acted the same. Look at nature. What is the most beautiful nature you've ever witnessed? It is the most diverse landscapes. It is the most diversity. It is so beautiful. It is so incredible. That's actually not true. There's landscapes also that don't have diversity. Have you ever been to some of those salt flats where it's just like water and like clouds reflecting off of the salt flats? And it's like, wow, this is also beautiful because it's just so expansive, right? Beauty expresses in infinite forms. I'm gonna take back what I said, where diversity is a beautiful expression, but the other expression is the lack of diversity. It is the union. It is what was before everything became. All of it is divine. All of it is so beautiful. I got to turn this off. I got to go make dinner and go to bed. And I got to shut this down. But I love you all so much. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Leave the comments. Ask any questions. You guys are driving the ship. And if you want to leave a voice note too. And I'll figure out how to like play them, because I think that could be kind of like a cool thing to do as a community. But I love you all so much. See ya.